We're finally ready to create a very simple animation. Okay, understand that there are better ways to do this kind of thing, but this is by way of demonstrating certain features within Unity that you need to see. So we're going to do a frame by frame animation, and we're going to delay the frames. So each frame is going to be one of those icons, and we want them to not flicker by so fast that you can't see them as they go fast. So we're going to put a delay in there, and that's going to be the new thing in here, because Unity is already a threaded, it creates threaded applications. Remember, it has an update that works on updating every frame, and so it's keeping track of a frame and threading to do any updates on that frame and stuff. So it's already doing some extra work that may tend to, if you do the traditional delay loops, it may tend to cause problems with that. And as a matter of fact, even if you use the method that I'm going to show you here, you can still run into some problems because of timing. So timing can be a little bit inaccurate, something you have to play with. But this is how you would do delays inside of Unity. So we're going to start here with the slot roller, which is where things happen. Okay, and we've got our roll slots thing. By the way, I'm going to start now with 0 will be our starting point. Okay, which is a good place to start anyway. And so what we're going to do here is we're actually going to do a couple of things. We are going, well, what we're going to do is we're going to start the delay loop that loops through each of those items, okay? So it's not going to look like we're doing that because what we're going to do is we're going to use something in Unity called a coroutine. So start coroutine, okay, and roll slots loop, okay, roll delay so that we can play with that later. And I'm going to make that a public, okay. So I'll just come up here while I'm thinking about it and make that a public. Sorry, let's make that a float. Okay. And that roll delay is going to be the delay between frames, okay, between our animation frames. And that's pretty much what I wanted to set up, okay. So I've got this, and what it's going to do then is it's going to start a coroutine, and then the instant it's done with that coroutine, it's done and it's ready to do the next thing. Okay, think of it as it throws the coroutine, this roll slots loop function. It throws it over the wall and say, "You do your thing, and I'm going to go back to do whatever else I'm doing." So if I put more code after this, it wouldn't wait. It would just do that code immediately. We're going to see that'll be a problem later on. But for right now, it's going to work just fine. Okay. Now, once we have that, we also need to have the coroutine itself. And this is a little bit different. Okay. There we go, curly braces. All right, and so what I've created here is the coroutine that it's going to call. And it's going to be of type IEnumerator, okay, integer enumerator. It's going to be a loop, which is why it does that. and it will get started by putting a delay in, and we'll show you how that delay works. Okay, but for the moment, we can just do for, oops, it already had it, for parentheses, undo. I have no idea why that worked. Do one action. There we go. Okay, so let's try that again. For parentheses, int loop count equals 0. I'll tab to accept that. It's actually pretty smart about that. Loop count less than images count. Actually, we're going to play around with that a little bit. And then loop count plus plus, and then it wants to actually create the loop body. Okay. There. It's worth it to me to be a little bit anal about the structure of my code. Okay. And so now what it's going to do is it's going to say, well, what I'm intending to do in here is I'm intending to disable the last enabled loop or last enabled image and enable the current enabled image. Okay, and that's going to take a little if statement, because if this current image is 0 again, then we're going to need to figure something else out. We're going to need to disable the 7th image. So we'll get there. How many times do I want to loop? I want to go between 2 and 3 times. So I want to loop, let's see, 16. Yeah. Plus random range 0, 7. Okay. All right, so what I did there was I said, okay, I want to loop at least 16 times. So I want to animate twice through the number of images we have, okay, plus a random number between 0 and 7, okay, and that should give me up to 3 times through the loop, but not necessarily 3 times. Matter of fact, if I wanted to make it a little broader range of loop, I could decrease this number and increase this number, okay, and that would work pretty well. Okay, so there's my loop, and then inside the loop, I want to if actually list index equals loop I'll learn to spell yet. Loop count. Yes, that one. Okay. Now that's going to be obviously way too much out of our range, so then I need to list index modulo, and you can tell it already knows what I need to do. So it says you really want to modulo that with the images count, and yes, I do. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit tab there. All right, and so that will give me a list index that is within the range, but each time through the loop, it'll advance it. When it gets to 7, it'll go back to 0 again and keep working that way. So actually kind of a nice little piece of code. Okay. If I'll accept that, but I'm going to modify it. If list index equal 0, okay, because this is the special case. And then what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to Control C, enable the current list index. I want to do that no matter what. Okay. But then I need to decide which one to disable, and that's where this if else comes in. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to here put this code in and modify it. So it's not images list index is going to be the one. If it's 0, then it should be 7 that gets disabled. And so I'll set that to false. Otherwise, it'll be list index -1, okay, that gets disabled. All right, so now I've got this thing looping through, and each time it disables one image and enables the next one, which is what I want it to do. It will stop at some random image, okay, and the last thing I want it to do is yield return new 4 seconds delay time. There it is. Okay. Okay, and that's a float number, so it can be a fraction of a second, which is what we'll set up when we actually set this thing together. And this is the delay. So the first time through the loop, it renders an image and disables another one. And then it says, okay, wait for delay time to do the next one. And then again, and then again, until it's through. When it's finally done, it returns. Okay, because it's a coroutine, it wasn't holding anything else up. And this is in a coroutine, this yield return is really the only way, is really the only good way we have to actually do a stop here. Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry, I made one small error that I caught before I actually compiled for a change. And that is that this code actually goes there. Okay, it goes inside the loop so that each time through the loop, it yields the return and waits again. Okay, and that's just what it needs to do a delay. Okay, so now let's save this file and save. Let's see, did we modify any of the others? We did not. However, now when we go look at our Yeah, okay. And error. Oops, I left off a semicolon. Gee, I never do that. I think I told you in one of the earlier videos that I do that all the time. Where did I leave off the semicolon? Loop count, void, probably up here when I created, no, float, roll, delay. Okay, so now I read the thing and it tells me it's at line 5025. So line 50, yield, return new, wait for seconds. Oh, it's not that I left off a semicolon, it's that I can't spell return. Return. There we go. Silly things like that will catch you up, and so you just have to be picky and look for them. Okay, so I'll go ahead and save. Go back to Unity, and this time it should compile without that annoying error. And the error went away. But now I do have to do a little bit of fix up because when I call slot window, which has that script in there, it's going to have a new thing in it that has to be fulfilled, a roll delay. And I don't know, we're going to make this kind of slow. So 0.5, which means we're going to be waiting while this thing rolls a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so 0.5. And oh, that's temporary, so that didn't happen. Okay, so 0.5. Now that I've stopped it, file save just to be sure. You go ahead and run it. And let's see what happens when I pull the lever. Okay, so the apple is the one, if you remember, I reset it so that it would start at 0, and I pull lever. And you see that it is rolling through the images. And it stopped randomly. Okay. If I pull lever again, it should continue rolling through the images, some random number of images. Okay. And I'm detecting some problem here, so I'll have to pull that up and discuss it in the next video to describe why does it keep stopping and coming back to a different or the same thing. It looks like it's slightly random, but it doesn't look like it's looping as many times as I want it to. So we will end this here. It is basically started a little tweak that I need to find, and we'll talk about that starting with the next video.